Hey guys, what's going on? This is Liam from Liam's Tinnitus, and I'm just, the sunset is kind of just going down there. I don't know if you can see it, but the point of this video is I've been doing a lot of research into, well, a lot of thinking and testing with myself and other people as to why so many people will fast and their tinnitus will go down. And then, and then when they break their fast, their tinnitus will go back up. And what I usually used to do was tell them, look, that's part of the process, keep doing it, and eventually your tinnitus will cease going back up, and eventually it will just keep going down and down and down. And the interesting thing was that worked. So that was a system that worked, but it took a lot of time, and it took a lot of, it was kind of stressful for people. And so what I have been doing recently, well, there's two kinds of people, okay? So some people could just do fast and would go down, 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 down. That was honestly most of the people. So most of the people would succeed in that light, and so that was like awesome. So the people who had a harder time, I didn't know what was going on there. And so I tested it with other people, and I got an inside group, and I tested with them, and we started to cut out different vegetables. And guess what happened? Regardless of what they broke their fast with, okay, if their diet in the months leading up was void of most vegetables, we cut out the basic things that were not essential. Fruits and nuts and seeds being the main things. When they broke their fast, Liam, I fast and my tinnitus goes down, and then when I break my fast, my tinnitus goes back up. Okay, take a month off, cut out fruits, nuts, and seeds, and see how it goes. Liam, my tinnitus went down, and then it stayed down. So I thought, what's really going on there? Why is that happening? And so there's a really, really interesting thing that a lot of doctors are saying, and well, actually that's not true at all, not a lot of doctors. I heard it from Darren Schmidt first, the guy who interviewed for the documentary, amazing doctor. I flew all the way over, if you guys don't know, I flew all the way over to America to interview Dr. Mao. Thank you, Kathy, by the way, for setting that up. Dr. Mao, Jim McCarty, and Darren Schmidt. And I remember in Chicago on my way to Dallas, I was sitting in Starbucks and I had $19 in my bank. $19. And I had to wait for about $300 to come into my bank account from payments, and I just sit there for 4 hours just doing nothing. And then about 5 a.m. the money came in because it was Australian time, and then I kept going. Anyway, my point being, Darren Schmidt said something really interesting, and it was from another doctor who he learned it off, and it was that fasting is so good because it mimics the carnivore diet. Now, what is a carnivore diet? It's a meat-only diet, but I don't 100% agree with this because dry fasting is different from fasting. Now, there's things like the fasting mimicking diet, which I think is total horseshit, but there's greater things, for example, like dry fasting and water fasting. So I know a lot of my friends who, it's catching on. I used to date this girl from Slovakia who's learning about autophagy in Europe. Good luck, America, catching up with that. But the thing is, it's catching on. So fasting is catching on. But there needs to be a preliminary, or something that needs to be done before fasting takes place. And that is cutting out all the pernicious poisons. Okay? And what I mean by pernicious poisons is all the toxins. Guys, toxicologists who study poisons, PhD, guess what they study? Plants, because they're so poisonous. And guess what? They don't just study hemlock. By the way, guys, hemlock is the drug that, well, it is basically a drug, but it's the plant, cowbane hemlock, is the plant that Socrates chose to kill himself with, okay? As well as his mentor, who taught him via books 100 years before in Athens, Greece. Look it up. Very fascinating stuff. Really good read. Boring, but good. Anyway, toxicologists study plants. Why? Because drugs are made from plants. Because they're so fucking toxic. Remember this, okay? And you can take this to the bank and you can say Liam said this. Every single plant you have has a bigger downside than an upside. And I've seen it across the board, okay? This is why so many vegans come to me with so many problems, okay? Vegans experience a benefit in their health for the first 1 or 2 years because A, they're in a fasted state because they're not absorbing shit. And secondly, because they've cut out all the processed foods and all the bad foods. And they probably started doing yoga, they probably started meditating, they probably started doing a calamity, okay, of other things as well. I think calamity is the right word for that. But you get what I'm saying, okay? It's a whole bunch of different things that have included as well as the vegan diet, and they've cut out all the bad things. Normally, vegans tend to make new friends as well, which I think is awesome, because if you make friends who want the best for you, which vegans normally do, even though it's, you know, they're not the most informed people in the world, that's a good thing. And you feel good, you sleep well, etc., etc. I can't tell you how many guys, I'm getting a recent influx of vegans coming to me for help, and also women who are pregnant or have recently given birth. By the way, if you're a pregnant woman, ask your doctor first. Iodine and selenium. Pump it into your veins. Okay, don't do that, but pump it into your veins, but don't do that. So my point is, I'm looking into now, and I will let you guys know, I've got an inside group who I'm working with at the moment, but fasting, okay, as good as it is, and I still think there's nothing as good as fasting. If you think there's anything better than fasting, I completely disagree, and I'll be willing to talk to you about it. But I've said this before, and you can look at my past videos. I've said this before, the best thing about fasting is that you're not eating plants. Guys, plants have been around for, I think it's 500 million years earlier than we are. And insects have been around that time too. Plants are designed to kill insects. They poison their mitochondria, okay? They kill insects, okay? So insects in that time have developed and they've been able to deal with plant toxins. We haven't been able to deal with it yet. But because of our size and because of our capabilities, we have forced apoptosis, which means cell death. If a cell, you know, we have different ways that we deal with things. For example, if we have antibodies and autoimmune diseases, and we have inflammation, we can literally touch the ground, and that will help us. So go and check out electrons and exactly what different drugs will do. For example, check out sodium salicylates, and check out halides as well. Check out iodine and selenium. Check out the fact that halides will strip the electrons. And where do you get those electrons from? The sun. Okay? 3 electrons inside the inner membrane, inside the mitochondria, inside the cell. By the way, a cell is encapsulated with cholesterol, so if you think you don't need to eat animal products, you're fucking delusional. Please don't go around the internet telling people that animal products are bad. You'll give them tinnitus. Don't do that. Anyway, so that's really the video. I'm going to look into that a bit more. I'm going to test it on people. Obviously, speak to a doctor before you do anything I say. But it's very exciting. But I've been saying this. I've been saying this behind the scenes for like about 5 months now. Fasting is great, but you've got to prepare your body for it, because when you fast, you're going to dump so many oxalates, okay, that either, you know, there's different ways people deal with it. Their body deals with it. You're going to have a spike, or it's going to feel your tinnitus is going to go down, then it's going to go up. Because you've got to remember, oxalates, they pull out folate, so you've got to supplement with folate, okay? There's so many more things that come into it than just simply fasting. There's scientific methods, okay? And stress, it affects the adrenal glands, which affects the heteroplasm rate of the mitochondria, so the electrons, ECT, electron chain funneling doesn't work in your inner ear. Anyway, that's a whole new thing. Reminder, I'm doing a talk in Melbourne. I'm going to be there in 2 weeks. If you're interested, please let me know. Just send me an email. If you're only interested, you'll find out what my email is. It's in my YouTube account. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was about, you know, I guess I called this video something like, is fasting the most effective method? It is, but there's ways to prepare for it. You need to prepare for it. And in order to prepare for it, it has nothing to do with stress. Nothing to do with stress reduction. It's all about diet. And what do doctors say? A balanced diet is the best. And what is included in a balanced diet? Pernicious poisons such as plants. Anyway, that's enough of that. Talk to you guys soon.